Police in Turkey suspect a Syrian woman planted the bomb that went off in Istanbul on Sunday. They say she was trained by Kurdish militants. The woman is one of more than 40 people who have been detained over the attack. The banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, has denied any role in the blast. At least 6 people were killed and several dozen injured when the explosion ripped through a crowded pedestrian street near Taksim Square.
Police raid a home in Istanbul following Sunday's bomb blast. Inside, a suspect is arrested. Turkey's Interior Ministry claims this person, said to be a Syrian woman with links to Kurdish militants, was responsible for planting the device. Dozens more people are said to have been detained. The attack hit this busy shopping street, causing panic across the city as people ran for their lives.
I was talking on the phone. All of a sudden there was an explosion. It was pretty loud. I looked out the window and saw people running.
It's very sad because some people just came here to have fun, to enjoy, to have a vacation. They went to the shop to buy something, and they didn't know that it will be their last day.
I don't feel safe here anymore. I'm afraid there will be more bombings. If I ever have kids, I don't want them to go through something like this. I hope it will not happen again, and they manage to prevent such attacks.
Condolences have been paid from across the world. But Turkey has rejected those from the United States. It accuses Washington of supporting the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, which it claims is behind the attack.
The insincerity of our so-called allies, who officially sent the terrorists money from their own senates, is evident.
While the political fights continue, Istanbul cleans up the mess as the most deadly attack in 5 years leaves this city on edge.
Our correspondent, Julia Hahn, is in Istanbul, and earlier she told me more about the police investigation.
Well, Turkish police have surprisingly quickly identified and detained a main suspect less than 24 hours after the deadly attack. A Syrian woman is believed to have planted the bomb on Istiklal Avenue here in central Istanbul. According to the police, she received training by the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, and its Syrian affiliates, and entered Turkey from northern Syria. 46 other people were also detained in connection with the attack. Police say they went through the footage of more than 1,000 security cameras here in Istanbul in order to be able to make these investigations and arrests. Now, the Turkish government blames the Kurdish militant PKK, which is listed as a terrorist organization by Ankara, but also by the European Union, the US and other Western countries. Interestingly, the PKK itself published a statement denying any involvement in this attack. So did another Kurdish-led group, the SDF in Syria. Now, that certainly raises some questions, but the means for us journalists here in Turkey, for anyone basically to independently verify the various claims coming from different sides is very limited, very difficult here. The government strictly controls the flow of information. Yesterday, immediately after the blast, they imposed a news ban to what they say in order to avoid panic spreading among the population. Today, they're widely sharing the images of the main suspect and her arrest. But right now, this is the main source of information we have.
Talk us briefly through the reaction to this most serious attack in 5 years.
Well, there is, of course, a great sense of sadness among Istanbul residents. I've seen many people paying a visit to the site of the blast today, laying down flowers. I've seen people crying. And then, of course, there is the realization among many of us living here in Istanbul that this blast could have hit any of us just because Istiklal Avenue is such a central place. It's very popular with locals and tourists alike. And many people were there on a Sunday when shops and restaurants were open to enjoy their free time. And then, of course, this explosion, this blast, brings back very painful memories for people in Turkey of a series of bombings and explosions between the years of 2015 to 2017, which nationwide killed several hundred people. Some of the attacks were blamed on the so-called Islamic State group. Others were blamed on Kurdish militants. And that is what many people told me today, that they are afraid something like this might be happening again.
Julia Hahn, our correspondent in Istanbul there. Thank you very much, Julia.